Welcome back to a special edition of Dream Catchers Presents the Jason Smith Show, where we don't chase dreams, we catch them. And who? Oh my goodness. Hold on, Joe. What's happening right now? Who am I sitting with right now? I'm sitting here with a legend. I don't care what nobody says. This is a legend. This is a Milwaukee icon. I am talking about personification of discipline, personification of catching dreams. This man is a leader, not a leader. When it comes to Milwaukee, the biggest city in the state, he is the leader. And who am I talking about? I am talking about Mayor Cavalier Johnson. But a lot of people say Mayor Chevy.
A lot of people say Mayor Chevy.
How you doing today, Mayor Chevy?
I'm doing all right. Excellent.
It's funny because before we ever initially met, I felt like I knew you because I was calling. I was like, yeah, Mayor Chevy. Like we're on a first name basis. And I think Mayor Chevy just flow. You know, Mayor Chevy, it flow. But the more professional is Mayor Cavalier Johnson. I'm so ecstatic to have you here. Like I said, I go for people who have personally inspired me. The people who I can look at and be like, dang, I want to be like that. Like, I don't have to be in that profession or that field, but I want to be like making history, changing the game. That's you. All I knew was Tom Barrett my whole life. All I can hear is Tom Barrett. And then I get to working here, and I'm like, okay, let's go. When Tom Barrett went to, what is it, Luxembourg or something? Yeah. I'm like, oh, yeah, now it's really time. We got somebody in office who little kids like me and younger than me can look at and inspire and be like, hey, you can be in Milwaukee and still make something of yourself. You can be in Milwaukee and rise literally to the top. So, Mayor Chevy, Mayor Cavalier Johnson, the first question I like to ask every single guest is, what is the dream?
What's a dream? So, to me, I think when I first had a dream, it was when I was 14 years old, when I really had a tangible dream, something that I could actually point to that I knew what it was when I was 14 years old. Two things happened that year. I'm dating myself a little bit. Back in 2001. And those two things that happened that year were that I was recruited to a pre-college program run by the YMCA called Sponsor a Scholar. And I still wear this YMCA wristband.
Repping, yeah, representing.
Still wear it. So I got recruited to this program, and the goal of the program was to get young people from low-income neighborhoods in Milwaukee public schools. Like myself, I lived in 53206, and we moved around a lot when I was a kid, so a lot of places like that. Get those kids involved and want to go to college. And for many of us, myself included, we were the first people in our family to not just attend, but to graduate from college.
Oh, wow.
The other part of that program was to get those same kids involved in community service and giving back. And I for whatever reason, 14-year-old me, I fell in love with helping people, with serving people.
That's definitely different.
Yeah, I know. It's like, Saturdays would come around, and I would like, yeah, let's get up and like go feed the homeless, or go to Easter Seals, or like, go help seniors to rake leaves or shovel snow, that sort of stuff. And then later on that year, a couple months after I got involved with the YMCA program, 9/11 happened.
Oh, wow.
And I saw President George W. Bush, former President Bush at the time, at Ground Zero in New York, at the World Trade Center, and he gave that famous speech there with the bullhorn. And for whatever reason, in my 14-year-old brain, those two things just sort of married each other. And I said, hey, I can do that. I need to do that. And I could have a career in government like the president had, and I could help people like I fell in love with doing the YMCA, all in one thing. And that's when I knew I wanted to run for office. So that was my dream.
Hey, listen, at 14 years old, I'm looking at what's the next video game coming out.
I was doing that too.
Hey, so you was able to manage it.
Oh,
I was full-fledged. I wasn't even thinking about people. So that's how you know it was born. It was put into you as a very young age, or you were just born with it. What do you think, though? That's a good question. Do you think that you were born with that will to want to help people, or was it more so nurtured?
No, I mean, I think some things are innate to people. Like some people have just incredible talents that they're just born with.
Yeah.
Some people have desires to help people like myself, or other, not just even me, but like other public servants I meet out there. I just met a lady a couple of weeks ago over in the Bronzeville neighborhood, and I think she says like 60 years old. She's a cancer survivor, and she's gotten to be retired, but she has vision issues, but she still she puts those glasses on, and she still goes out to help people get registered to vote.
Wow.
And help people during election time. So some people just have a public servant heart. So I think that's what it was for me. I think I was just born with it and just had to find it, or better yet, it found me. Because those two things, happening, 9/11. I mean, it affected so many people the way that it did. Some people went to the military. Some people went to be police officers and firefighters. Some people decided that they wanted to run for office. And that was my case. It just had to be unlocked.
So really, 9/11 was a huge catalyst to this.
That and the YMCA.
Yeah.
I mean, if it were not for those two things happening in such close proximity in my life, maybe I would have gone a different path. Maybe I would have been, a video game designer or something like you.
Hey,
like talking about.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's what I was focused on. But no, so that's amazing. The constant growth, the constant development, and now you're sitting here, the mayor of Milwaukee. So, when you first became mayor, walk me through your mind. What are you thinking? Okay, it's announced. Cavalier Johnson is the mayor of Milwaukee. What's going through your mind?
Well, when I first, I have to take it back a little farther than that. So it was in August, I remember August of 2021, when the news was breaking that Tom Barrett, the former mayor, long-term mayor, nearly 20 years here, was going to get appointed ambassador to Luxembourg. So my wife has me out in the backyard, using my green thumb, which I don't really have, but I'm out there, planting flowers and all this sort of stuff, and my phone is just going off. It is just like exploding. It got to the point where, like, my leg got hot. I'm ignoring all the stuff. I'm like, I'm busy. My hands are dirty. I'm filthy. I'm sweaty. I don't want to be. And like my pants, my shorts got hot because I just got so many notifications on my phone that said, Barrett's going to get appointed by President Joe Biden. He's going to be an ambassador somewhere, and all this and all that. And folks are congratulating me on becoming mayor. I'm like, well, no, I'm not. That doesn't happen until it happens, So that happens, and then we have to wait until December when ultimately he is announced to be the ambassador. And I remember the day like it was yesterday because it was one of those palindrome days. It was December 22nd, 2021, 5 o'clock, 5:01. He left the mayor's office, and I walked over across the hall from the common council side. I was council president and became the acting mayor. And then from that, you get sort of launched into this crazy snap election right away. And so I had to run for the seat, not just appointed that, but you have to run to maintain the seat. And there were 7 people in my race, a lot of big political names that have been around for a long time, folks that I respect and talk to even to this day. Ultimately, in the 7-person race, I came out the primary with 42% of the vote, and then won the race, the general election, with 72% of the vote. So I was very, very proud about that. And I understood, not just when I won the election, but when I first walked across the hall to assume the position of mayor, that this was something that was historic.
Very historic.
Now, certainly, and I have to give a lot of credit, we all do, to Marvin Pratt. Back in 2004, became the first African American to sit in that seat as mayor. And trust me and believe me when I tell you that there's not really such a thing as acting mayor. When you're mayor, you're just the mayor, and he did that. I had the opportunity to be the second person to do that, and then ultimately to be elected and be the first African American to be elected and serve in this position. It's history. It's history, and folks are looking to me, in order to make sure that we drive Milwaukee forward in the way that the vast majority of people in this city want. And it's a huge responsibility, and I take it very seriously.
So what are the best and toughest parts of being mayor? Because it's a tough job.
It's an extremely tough job.
That's an understatement.
It's an extremely tough job. Look, I mean, to be frank about, anytime you say in this position when you're mayor, anytime you say yes to somebody, you have to realize that you're saying no to somebody else, right? You're never going to make everybody happy. Like that's just not what's in the cards when you're mayor. But as leader of the city, you have to be able to have the fortitude to come down on one side of an issue or another for the betterment of the city, even if it's not something that's necessarily a popular choice.
Yeah.
And trust me, I've been on the end of things that are not necessarily popular choices, but choices I think are in the best interests of Milwaukee. So those are some of the more difficult things. I had a day just a couple of weeks ago where this job shows you the ups and downs of being the chief executive of the largest city in the state of Wisconsin. So I had a day where we opened up a dog park downtown, we're breaking ground in a dog park that will open downtown, which is great and fun.
Yeah, I can't wait. I'm gonna take my dog. I got a little golden doodle.
We're looking at getting a dog too, so that's great and fun. And then I had 3 police officers that were serving a warrant and were shot at. And then having that information, weighing on you, got to go and speak in front of a room of hundreds of people to celebrate organizations that are doing great work in the city. So like they're just
it's a roller coaster.
The ups and downs. Or even a day like just yesterday when the President of the United States is here in this city, and I'm one of the few people that gets to go and greet him when Air Force One lands. Now remember, I was inspired to run for office to do this because of a President of the United States. And so those are the times where I just gotta pinch myself.
Yeah.
Like I was just a 14-year-old kid in Milwaukee with no college background myself. Nobody in my family who had ever gone to college. With this big dream, this big goal to serve people in this sort of way, and inspired by a president. And now like I get to greet the President of the United States landing in my city. It's just it's amazing. Only in America. I
can only imagine. I saw a video of you at the White House.
Yeah.
Was that a couple months ago or something like that?
Yeah, it's again one of those things where I am just extremely grateful. I mean, there's a lot of hard work that goes into it, right? I mean, I lost my first 2 races for mayor, and I mean, I'll tell you this too. Like I was concerned when I'm sorry, not 2 races for mayor. My first 2 races for public office. I ran for county board supervisor, and when it came time to that third opportunity to run, I thought long and hard about it because I again felt that I was called to do this since I was a kid, and after losing twice, it makes you sort of think about it again. I mean, ultimately, I did win, and then became council president, and then won for mayor, and then won re-election for mayor by an even bigger margin with more than 80% of the vote this time. But I had to think twice before I ran for the county council, just because this is big, scary stuff. But you just stick to it.
Yeah, I was going to ask, how did you overcome that fear? Like, how did you ultimately make the decision? You know what? Yes, the first 2 times it didn't go my way, but I'm gonna still try again.
It's perseverance. So I've got these points of mentorship from people in my life, and my mom always so I go to a lot of schools, a ton of schools, and when I'm talking to kids. Generally, I'll ask them, if they know John Cena.
Yeah.
Right. And they're like, oh my gosh, it's sort of like an icebreaker with them.
Yeah.
And they all know John Cena, and they do the Can't See Me and all that. And I say, well, to me, my mom was kind of like John Cena before John Cena, because before John Cena runs to the ring in the WWE, he like puts that towel down and says, never give up, never give up, and that was my mom. Through all the difficulties and challenges that she faced, I mean, mostly as a single mom, and there were 5 of us in the house before our next sister came along. She got married. She never gave up. We moved around so much. We didn't have food. We had Christmases that were canceled. I mean, people, having issues with the landlord and setting the duplex we were in on fire. Just
wow.
all this stuff you just have to deal with. There's so many kids in Milwaukee have had to deal with that I grew up with too, and she just never quit. And so I use that lesson Even after losing a couple of times to something I felt that I was called to, I applied that lesson of never giving up to my own pursuits, my political pursuits, the dream that I had when I was a 14-year-old kid, and I'm here now as mayor.
So what would you say you would want your legacy to be after? We don't know what, if you move up, if you want to become governor, or if you want to just step down. Like, I'm tired of being mayor. What would you want your legacy to be?
What do I want my legacy to be in terms of which office, or like what policies?
No, just being in. So, for example, like when I think of, it's crazy. Like when I think of Obama, I think of, I don't know, healthcare or something like that. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, do you have something that you point to and be like, okay, I want to be remembered for that, or are you just going along with it?
So again, I understand the historical nature of my presence in this office as mayor. Like, I get that, and at the same time, like, I'm just a guy doing a job.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't have time. I understand that it's there, but I don't think about it on a daily basis. Like, I'm just trying to do my job and serve the people that elected me to do this job as mayor of our city. So, look, we've had a number of great accomplishments already. Not even just since I've been mayor, but even when I was, council president, still a principal leader in government locally. I mean, you look at, not terribly far from here, Milwaukee Tool that came in and growing new and good paying jobs here in the city. You look at the Couture that's coming out of the ground. Like, I was a mayor, but I was council president, and I had to be the one that forced that thing through.
You had a lot to do with that.
Yes. That's a whole other podcast. But yes, that skyscraper is up right now because of our efforts when I was city council president. Connected to this building, Pfizer. This is a global company. You got a credit card, debit card in your pocket. If you do, you got Pfizer technology in your pocket.
Wow.
This company is a global company. Could have gone anywhere. In fact, their CEO sits out in New York, New Jersey. They've got large office presence in Georgia and in Nebraska. I wanted them to stay here in our region. They were looking to move from Brookfield. They're sitting right next door with hundreds of good paying jobs and going to grow jobs over time here in Milwaukee. You look at the infrastructure improvements that we're doing on the streets of Milwaukee right now, with the bike lanes and stuff that's going on. We're reducing reckless driving and making it safer for people, all users of the roadway, to be able to cross the streets. Crime has steadily been going down
declining
in Milwaukee since I've been mayor, with our approach around accountability and prevention. You look at some of our eco plans for the city. That's great. The lead service lateral issue that's been a problem in Milwaukee for years and years and years. We're on track right now this year in my administration to more than double the amount of lead service laterals that we've taken out in a single year. So we've got a lot of really good, positive things that are going on. Our long-standing summer youth jobs, Earn and Learn, we keep that going, but we added a new program called Camp Rise with kids, serving kids between the ages of 10 and 13 years old. These kids were the ones that are being recruited to steal cars. Remember the Kia Boys and all that?
I remember the Kia Boys.
They were recruiting kids that young to steal cars.
Wow.
And because of my experience in the mentorship program with the YMCA, we created a new program to target those kids so they had an alternative.
Brilliant.
And now we're serving hundreds of kids that way. And we may be Milwaukee, that is the only big city in the United States that's doing workforce development with kids as young as 10 years old. So we got a lot of great policy achievements that we've accomplished since I've been mayor. And I just want to keep this thing going and serve more people in Milwaukee the best way that we possibly can.
Let's go. Let's get it. I love it. And you talked about John Cena before it started. I was like, yeah, I saw you at SmackDown a couple years ago. I was like, what? The mayor like wrestling too? Hold on now. Because Joe, no, this is my brother. I grew up. Now listen, wrestling is, to this day, I'm tuning in every single Monday and Friday. They come in, I think this week. I think this Friday they actually come in, or sometime soon they come in here, or next month.
November 15th.
Yeah, next month. Yeah, they come in here sometime, and I'm gonna be there.
Yeah. So will Roman Reigns.
That's why I'm going. So who growing up? Who was your favorite wrestler?
The Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels.
Okay, Shawn Michaels. I think Shawn Michaels is personally the greatest in-ring performer of all time. So I do you have a favorite currently?
The favorite currently? I don't know if I have a favorite currently. I at this point, I just watch the show and enjoy it.
Okay.
I mean, I respect everything that these folks do, but I think for me, growing up, everybody had their favorite. Like my best friend Andres, his favorite it just so happened to be that his favorite was Triple H, who's Shawn Michaels' best friend.
Yeah.
And so we had that going on. But to me, it's HBK all day, every day.
Why HBK?
Because, as you said, he's the greatest in-ring performer that there ever was. I mean, look at his legacy of matches. I think, personally, the greatest WrestleMania match of all time was the Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels versus The Undertaker at WrestleMania 25.
Yes,
Ever. And, I mean, certainly there are other awesome matches throughout his career. I mean, his comeback against Triple H 2002 in Survivor Series, the Kurt Angle match at WrestleMania 21. I mean, obviously the first Hell in a Cell match with The Undertaker back at Bad Blood, 1997. I mean, there's so many great, HBK firsts, but he just had an amazing in-ring career.
And a lot of people don't know. Listen, I wanted to be a wrestler growing up.
Me too. A little. I mean, we all did.
I'm talking like I wanted to be especially when I got on YouTube and I ran into The Rock.
Oh yeah.
I was like, hold on, The Rock. I was just captivated by the charisma, how he rose to the top.
Yeah.
Man, listen, I was trying to. When growing up, I had like this blood disease called von Willebrand, where I bleed real easy if I got cut. And whenever we would go to the doctor, my aunt, she would be like, "All right, don't tell him you want to be a wrestler, 'cause I don't know, like that's a little dangerous job, and you over here can't even get cut, you go bleed too much." Yeah. But no, so my favorite is Roman Reigns. I can't lie. But I was with Roman before Roman Reigns became Roman. I was when they were booing before when they was booing Roman Reigns, when they were when Vince McMahon was pushing them, trying to make him the face, trying to force feed him to the fans.
Yeah.
I was still rocking with Roman because I saw what they saw in Roman, and now you look, he at the top.
Oh, okay. So you were a big dog fan.
I was a big dog fan.
Now you're an original Tribal Chief fan.
Come on now, OTC. But growing up, I can't lie. I was a regular, stereotypical kid. John Cena was my guy.
Yeah, dog, I got that.
John Cena was my guy.
I got that.
He was the greatest of all time. But no, I just wanted to ask you about that because that's absolutely insane. Because when you talk about John Cena, he's the most successful wrestler of all time. And something I want to ask you is like, how do you, in your personal life, how do you define success? Like when it comes to success, because a lot of people, when they hear success, money. That's the first thing that comes to people's head. And for me, money is just a byproduct of success. So how do you define success?
Well, look, I mean, I chose a career, or it found me, perhaps, some would say, where you don't go into it if you're looking to get rich.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get rich being mayor of Milwaukee. If people, tell me, maybe you should go off, into some other job where you could make a lot of money, and that's fine for folks. But for me, success is working to make sure that people in our community get the services that they need. That's what you get in government. Like, our success is not, it's not dollars. It's about making sure people have safety. So I'm making sure that kids have opportunities to put their best foot forward. Things like we did just a little bit ago over at Milwaukee Tool, exposing hundreds of kids in Milwaukee public schools to good paying career opportunities. To me, that's success. Success is working with the president's administration in order to bring down the amount of lead service laterals. Success is working with the police department and our Office of Community Wellness and Safety and the faith-based community and nonprofit community-based organizations here in town to drive crime down in the city. Success is working to make sure that it doesn't matter if you're a scooter rider, a stroller pusher, you're in a wheelchair, you're on a bicycle, whatever, that you can get to and from around the city and do it safely, right? And share the roads with everybody that's using them. I want kids to be able to ride their bikes around the city like I did when I was a kid. We rode our bikes forever and a day. And you had to be home before the streetlights turned on.
Yeah.
But it was safe to do. And to me, like, that's success. Like, I want to get to that. I want to get to the point where neighborhoods are not transient, or the people who live there aren't transient, and the neighborhoods aren't porous. To me, that's success. And then personally, look, not next month. These months are going by so quickly. my wife and I are going to celebrate this month our 8th wedding anniversary. And thank you.
Congrats.
And we've got 3 kids, a freshman in high school, and our son, and 6-year-old twin daughters, and everybody is happy and healthy. To me, that's success.
No, I love it. And at the end of the day, health, family, as long as they good,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
good. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, that's really just how it is. However, as mayor and a dad and a husband, how do you practice self-care? How do you keep your mental right? I feel like my head would be, I'm getting pulled and tugged in all these different directions, and I still got all this stuff. I got all this responsibility. How do you manage self-care?
Not very well.
It's tough. I don't know how you find the time.
Not very well. I mean, I cheer my staff when they take time off. They take a day off. They go on vacation for a little bit. Like, I cheer them. I celebrate them. I want them to do that. I don't do it enough myself, and I should, because my kids deserve it. I mean, they're only going to go to first grade once. My son's only going to be in high school once. My wife deserves to have me there more so than what I have been. But you're right. I mean, it's just the constant push and pull. I mean, in this job, every single day, 7 days a week, all day, like, I could be booked with stuff. But it's on us to work to try to strike that balance. And I don't do it nearly well enough. So I guess part of the way that I find some balance is to catch up on WWE stuff. As we were talking about earlier, I'm a video game player as well, or I used to be a lot more back in the day before I became mayor and became too busy. But Legend of Zelda, Super Smash Bros. Those are sorts of games that I would play when I had the time. I like to travel, which most of my travel now is work.
Yeah.
So I'm not really like going to
They can.
I'm not I'm not going to hang out. It's like, here, go to a conference and go to the conference room in whatever place, never see the place you're at, and then go back to the airport and go home.
Oh, you don't get to go to the beach.
No.
Kick your feet up, lay back.
No, it's
you don't get that.
No, it's not. It's like you go to the place, you go to the conference in the place, you go back to the airport, and then you go home. So it's that sort of stuff. So I need to do better at that, and I will I'll be the first one to admit that I have struggled with that. I think part of it just because I come from neighborhoods where people were in poverty, and folks had to work in order to find success, and I think that I sort of latched onto that, probably too much, and I should probably, not to say that I shouldn't work hard. I mean, everybody should work hard, myself included, but I should probably take a little more time to stop and smell the roses.
I think, Mayor, you got to take a little time for yourself. Sit back. I know it's hard.
Yeah, it is. Oh, it is.
But listen, we are, at the end of the day, you're a human.
Yeah,
so,
yes. Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? So no, I'm looking forward to you taking time off and just relaxing. Turning the phone off and just relaxing.
Yeah. Not now, though, because
yeah, not now.
Budget, we got elections, we got all this stuff going on, so we can talk about that after November 6th.
Nah, I feel it. Last question before we get to the this or that. What advice would you give to young Cavalier? You looking at 10-year-old, 11-year-old Cavalier Johnson, where you're sitting at right now. What can you look back and tell young Cavalier? I would have done this or I would have done that. What advice would you give them?
I would probably give young Cavalier or young Chevy.
Yeah.
I would give him the mentorship advice that I know today that I would have found out over the course of you said 10 years old, over the course of the 4 years between 10 and 14 when I joined these programs and stuff. I'd give him an early scoop at what those mentorship lessons were. Those were from my mom. We talked about never giving up. From my dad, my stepdad rather, who said if you do good things, then good things will come to you. Like, you do good, you get good. from my friend, my brother Victor, Dr. Victor Amaya, who runs an organization called Data You Can Use Here. He came here from Mexico. He couldn't speak English. The reason why I have the nickname Chevy is because, when I first met him when I was 14, his accent was so thick he couldn't pronounce Cavalier.
Wow.
And back in those days, Chevy, the company used to make a car called the Cavalier. So that's why he has to call me Chevy.
Wow.
So that's how I got the nickname Chevy. But he couldn't speak English all that well. But we still hit it off and became great friends, and still even today, like we're brothers, we're bros, And what he taught me was that you can build bridges with people. Doesn't matter where they come from. You can build bridges and relationships with folks. So that my dad said that look, if there's something that you want to do, then you should do it. Like somebody's always going to be mayor, for instance. But if you're willing to put in the hard work, if you're willing to put in the time and the energy, then you should go out and you should do it. And then one of my mentors in the YMCA program, Jack Lunn, who used to run the YMCA here in Milwaukee, he said that you shouldn't chase dollars, you should chase purpose in life. And it's those 5 pieces of mentorship that help to guide me even where I am now.
Don't chase dollars, chase purpose.
Chase purpose.
That needs to go on a t-shirt. We need some t-shirts. Don't chase dollars, chase purpose.
Credit to Jack.
Shout out Jack. So for some this or that, I'm gonna just state off a couple options, and you just tell me which option you prefer.
All right.
Now this is not peanut butter or jelly.
Okay.
Yeah, I try to tell you, or it's not macaroni or pizza.
Okay. Ooh.
Yeah, I don't know. That sounds good right now. I'm starving.
Yeah.
First, this or that. Idealism or realism?
Idealism. Because you should have things that you are striving towards. And realism can be a part of that. I mean, that's how you get there ultimately. But you should have these large ideas that you're striving to accomplish.
I agree. And when I first put that question together, I'm like, realism is cool. I like realism. But no, I think you should always, because you will never reach perfection.
Yeah.
It's impossible.
Yeah.
But if you keep striving for perfection, I can get close.
Yeah.
I can get this close.
Right.
But if you're talking about realism, then you looking at your current situation and you like, oh man, I would never be able to come that because I got all you start coming up with all these different problems and all these different cons and stuff that'll hold you back. But if you got that ideal, you got something to chase.
Yeah.
Next one, truth or harmony?
Truth or harmony? Truth. Because I think with truth, you ultimately get to harmony. I think you accomplish that with truth. And truth can be, difficult. It can be ugly. It may cause conflict, but those are things you just need to, those are things you need to get out. Those are things that need to be exercised. And then when you ultimately do confront those things, I think you ultimately do get to some level of harmony.
Because that initial reaction is just a bump in the road. Mm-hmm. Imagine driving and okay, you driving, it's a street, it's a little bump right here. Mm-hmm. Eventually, you go come across the bump, but once you get over the bump, you good. Now you can drive smooth sailing. Mm-hmm. So you gotta go through. Of course, when you first hear the truth, it's gonna hurt.
Yeah,
it's gonna feel something.
Sometimes the truth hurts.
So, hey, listen, that's the saying. Truth hurts.
Yeah.
But when you get past that hurt, you realize, oh, I needed that.
Yeah.
That had to happen.
Yeah.
Last, this or that. Equality or equity?
Equity. Because equity, you get to equality from equity. And not everybody's experience is the same. There's that, and you probably have seen this before, this illustration where these kids are trying to watch a baseball game.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Right?
Yeah.
And it's kids of varying ages and sizes. One's tall, one's medium height, one is short like me. And each of them gets a crate to stand on. Now that's equality.
Yeah.
That's everybody, but still the shortest one can't see.
Yeah.
The medium height kid can hardly see, and the kid who's the tallest, he can see perfectly fine.
He didn't even need the box.
He didn't even need the box.
Yeah.
But then you rearrange some of that, and then everybody gets the chance to see. We need more people to be able to get the chance to see.
I completely agree. I'm all about equity.
Yeah.
I believe people should get the resources they need. I always equate it. I say, like, you can't put an intellectually challenged kid in a honor roll AP class and expect both of them to come out with the same result.
Right.
No, like the intellectually challenged kid need different resources than the AP kid. So no, I'm all equity. Final question of the podcast. And it's crazy because we kind of already touched on this. But do you believe that every person has a specific purpose in life, or do you think that purpose is generated through experiences and through life experiences?
I think that people can find purpose, and I think that everybody can find that. Everybody has the attributes to find something that gives them purpose in life. I think that's not something that's unique to people. I think that, or to one individual or another. I think that anybody can find that. I mean, just look at me being mayor. I tell kids all the time when I go to schools, like, I have the same struggles that you guys had growing up. Like, I know the challenges that y'all faced, and yet here I am, the speaker or the guest or whatever at your school. There's nothing special about me. Came from the same neighborhoods, went to the same schools, had the same experiences. I mean, heck, some of these kids are in a better position than me. I mean, like I'm 5'0", 100 nothing pounds, and they've got the benefit of having somebody like me who had those same experiences, and has found some success, coming back to encourage them, like where I didn't have that.
Yes.
So I just feel like they'll be much better than me when the time comes for their generation to gain power and be the leaders of our community. I really do.
But it takes people like you to go to those schools, because I mean, a lot of people get to a certain position and they don't even want to go help out the youth. They don't want to go help out the younger generation. They don't want to give the key. They want to gatekeep all the keys to life. And I'm just happy somebody like you, the leader of the city, is going to the kids saying, bro, I'm just like you. You can literally do this. And it's just the fact that in Milwaukee, with the huge black population, it's so many kids. And I was one of them who looked and was like, okay, hold on. If he can become mayor, anything is possible. Like, are you kidding me right now? If somebody can have a dream, set out for that dream, and actually make that happen, and we can literally watch it unfold, like we can see your progression, and then coming back, is very commendable. And speaking on behalf of the kids that you talk to, and I said me being one of them, we thank you, we appreciate you, and we are very grateful.
Hey, I appreciate having the opportunity to do the job. And I'll keep doing it. And about the presidency stuff, just to sort of get us back to where we started, like the thing that inspired me, being one of those kids and needing inspiration myself, or finding it, or it finding me. So President Bush inspired me to go into it. Barack Obama, when he was president, showed me that even somebody who looks like me could do it.
Exactly.
And then his successor in office showed me that literally anybody could do it. Anybody can be it.
Yeah.
So I encourage those kids, and will continue to encourage those kids to think big. They don't have small dreams, have big dreams.
And catch them.
Don't
just chase them. Catch them. You just got done watching another episode, a special episode of Dreamcatchers Presents the Jason Smith Show. Oh, wait, when I point to you, I need you to say, we catch them.
Okay.
Where we don't chase dreams, nah.
We catch them.
Oh, he brought the energy with it, too. We catch him. Thank you so much, Mike.
Thank you. Thank you, Jason.
Technology. You can hold me down, but no, you can't.